Morning, it's the 22nd of November. We've had a fair bit of rain overnight. In fact, it's wet now. We haven't got a lot of water standing. Our cereals are actually, with them being drilled so dry, are standing up fairly well. So yeah, pleased. Shawnee Poole's trailer, a lot of you got it right, yeah. I don't do a quiz thing, but yeah, as I walked by it the other day, I asked if anybody knew what it was, and yeah, this is a Shawnee Poole's. Yeah, there would be a 12-ton dump box on back of it, but it hasn't been converted. They actually built one with built ones with drawbars on, but a lot of them had like a swan neck, what was keyed to a tractor. Oh, it dates back from the 70s. Does this? Like, could even be earlier. And it was, they used to put a special linkage onto either I think Fordson tractors in the beginning, like a major, and then they went on to 5000s, 168 Fergies and that type of stuff. And 12-ton and heavy box, I don't know, I think it was overdoing job, like, you know, they're only little tractors, sort of 70-80 horsepower. And yeah, with 12-ton of, especially with rubble and soil, because you know how much that weighs, they'd have some weight. But yeah, the drawbar went like a swan neck up and down until your, I think it was axle mounted. But yeah, it was made by a company called Steel Fab. I did a bit of research, and they built diggers from sort of pre-war. Post-war. After war, they started building diggers. Yeah, Steel Fab. Well, similar to JCBs, but they built one on what was based on a Fordson Dexter, and it was no good. It was it gave them a bad reputation because the Dexter wasn't strong enough for what it was up to. And I think they kept going making trailers, and I think they're similar. I think they had a digger up to sort of late 80s, somewhere in that, and then they went wallop. I don't know. So yeah, a bit of British engineering for you. Yeah, there was loads of these about. I mean, at the sale, I bought the chassis. There was one with a rotten body and then a real good one. I don't even know what it meant, but I just looked at that, and for what price it was making, I thought someone will utilise that into something very useful. Like, yeah, it'd be very easy to whip wheels off it and scrap it, wouldn't it? But my Christ, you start making a chassis like that now with this type of steel. But yeah, let alone if you bought that box section. I know it's been cobbled together with channel iron, I think, and if you started to cobble that together, but it will cost a fortune with price of stuff at the moment. So yeah, Shawnee Poole's 12-ton dump trailer, guessing from the 70s. Busy day today. We've got power gearbox to take off that and clutch assembly to get rid of it. Someone's bought that, they want it for a 6 metre. Blown one other a 6 metre, so I'll give him a price on that one. Bloody good arrow really to strip. I'm making a beef hopper. I'm sick of looking at our cattle. Giving a mouthful of corn and putting their head up at trough and losing half of it's crap. So I'm making out of this second-hand, scrap pig feeder, I'm making a beef hopper. Got a floor to put in there, strengthen out the corners, bolt it all together, and it should do, or give us an idea of what we want for the future. And to be honest, that was scrap. I've had about 2 hours at it. We've had about, I don't know, 50 quid's worth of wood, and it's give us something to do really. So not that we look for jobs, we've always got jobs, but it's one of them projects where we've been coming in here at 4 o'clock and having an hour on it before we bugger off home, like. Anyway, I'm just making a bit of room so he can get in that, and we'll get gearbox off first thing after we've fed all cattle and pigs. So yeah. Yeah, this drawer set we bought, oh god, well, I always write it top of box, 2017. Get one, I don't know. It was 186 quid then. So I bet you get a shock now. I always buy, when I buy stuff, where I got it from, and what I paid for it. And yeah, we don't use them very often, but when you do, they just get you out they're only 10-ton puller. And yeah, they're really good. Ooh. Yeah, the sequence is you set your jaws, and then this has got some hydraulic 10-ton pressure on that rod there, what pushes down. Oop. Just so you could do with 4 hands though, that's all, to use them. Anybody who's ever used one will understand that. Don't think you're allowed to have radio on YouTube, are you? Because you aren't allowed to do nowadays. You aren't allowed to do this, you aren't allowed to do that, you aren't allowed to say this, you aren't allowed to say that. We've all turned soft. See what I'm doing now, adjusting that thread up. So what?
Let's get a chain on top of that on JCB.
What, on the boom?
Yeah, stick the boom out above. Top of para, just give you an helping hand with it. Or that wrist coming off of that bracket.
Well, you'd have to lift on my boom, wouldn't you? Got ourselves in a little bit of a predicament with this drill. It's a lot heavier than we thought, and got it half off, and it started to come up at back, and we're liable to flick it over. So we're either going to wait and put a tie knot back with the other loader, which is the other farm, or put a chain on the boom and lift it up, pull forward, and just lower it down. Whatever way we do it, it ain't going to be we won't show the health and safety. Just under there, near them bushes, it is either a big cat or an otter. We'll go and have a look. Yeah, just under that, near that oh god, it's wet on here. Just under that telegraph pole, something black and long. I would have said it was a cat, but it's disappeared, and there's only one place it can go, and it's in the dike. So whether it was a big otter, anyway. I better take my coat off. I'm not exactly inconspicuous with that on. There's a bloody cat! That feral cat, I thought I'd found an otter. Anyway, not to worry. That's a big one though, wasn't it? One of them bloody pumas, was it? What they reckon there's on loose. There's been quite a few sightings of black cats around here. And there was a video floating about, but it could have been like that, to be fair. But yeah, I thought it was an otter. I was just at a distance where I couldn't really see, but God, that weight looks fantastic, doesn't it? This is a bit thin. Got quite a bit of water stood on there, on this one. It was quite late drilled, and it was drilled with a bit of moisture, but that one's fantastic. But that is after rape. This is second week, so but yeah, it looks good. It's quite a nice day, quite biting air though. To you know, like it's going to be another frost. Just in them, well, grazing crops, grazing cover crops, whatever you want to call them. All depends what happens in spring really to them. Might graze them with some sheep, might graze them with cattle. But yeah, they come fairly well really. I mean, this mustard, I think mustard's the one for us though. You know, puts a nice tap root down to find its nutrients. Well, there's a lot, I mean, dry matter wise, feed value, I don't know, but it certainly produces a lot of mass. Yeah, and there's some beans in among them, some peas. We had a slight frost and I thought the peas might have been touched, and then the base of it is rye and oats, and yeah, it's come well. But my dad said when we, some rape as well, some oilseed rape, few stubble turnips, all sorts of stuff, just to see what does what really, and what produces what. But before we this was a winter barley stubble, and before we came in here we were combining oilseed rape, and well, that's the only explanation we have for this. And because we've never grown rape in here, we've possibly spread muck with rape straw in, but look at this, you know, look at that, like these oilseed rape plants, look at the denseness of that, look at that, and the food what's there, you know, that's unbelievable, is that? Absolutely unbelievable how big that rape plant is at this time of year. And there's loads of them, and nearly it was all over the field. So what would have been better just leaving it, and there'd have been masses of fodder, you know, to graze sheep, cattle, whatever you want. So it just gives me an idea in my head that I want some kind of applicator to just maybe go over with a stubble rake and just put a bit of seed, or either just before you combine it, you know, as the crop stood up, or just after. And you know, for the cost of that is nought, you know, just a little bit of rape seed at a very, very fine seed rate, you know, I would say 3 kilo to hectare, and just blast it on, and there you go. So quite impressive, I'm quite impressed. In fact, I'm kicking myself. I destroyed all that to drill what I did. So look at it down there. Look at all the product. Look at it. So yeah, I mean, if you don't know, try these things. You don't know, do you? But in fact, they might bulk up in spring. They're still growing now. You know, they might bulk up to something special, because the idea is this field, it's offering with maize, probably not too early, and we're going to hopefully February time, weather depending, put cattle and sheep on here and graze it off. Maybe strip graze it as well, where you give them sort of 20 yard every, well, when they need it, you know, and keep moving a wire, and try that, and then put it in with maize. But yeah, quite impressive, isn't it, that?